In a quiet suburb outside Port Harcourt, Nigeria, lived a man named Chike Obi. At 42, he was known by neighbors as a calm, hard-working man. He ran a car spare parts business and had a small, neat home where he lived with his wife, Amara, and their two children, Kamsi, age 9, and Ziora, age 5. To the world, they were the perfect family. But behind the smiles, Chike had been haunted by whispers, doubts, and secrets he never dared voice. He had married Amara 10 years ago, a stunning and charming woman who had captured his heart quickly. Their marriage had seemed solid, until he began noticing little things. Whispers from old friends, unexplained phone calls, conversations that stopped when he entered the room. Then came the storm of his suspicions. One night, while scrolling his phone, Chike stumbled upon an anonymous message on Facebook that simply said, "The children are not yours. Ask for a DNA test if you doubt it." At first, he dismissed it as a cruel joke, but it planted a seed, one that grew wild in the dark corners of his mind. Driven by paranoia and pain, Chike secretly took samples, hair from his daughter's comb, saliva from his son's toothbrush. He paid privately for a DNA test. 2 weeks later, the result came in. 0% biological match. Both children, not his. Chike stared at the paper as if it had spat on him. His whole world, the love, the family photos, the bedtime stories, shattered into fragments of lies. He confronted Amara calmly that night, his voice eerily steady. "Whose children are they?" he asked. Amara froze, then broke down. Tears. Confessions. She said it was a mistake, that the affair happened early in the marriage and that she thought he could never find out. She begged him not to ruin the children's lives. But something inside Chike had already snapped. To him, it wasn't just betrayal, it was identity theft. His life had been a lie. He'd raised, loved, and sacrificed for children who weren't his. And the woman he gave everything to had built their entire world on deception. That night, in a chilling rage masked as silence, Chike waited until his children were asleep. He walked into the kitchen, took a knife from the drawer, and did the unthinkable. By morning, 3 bodies lay in the house. He called the police himself. When they arrived, he sat covered in blood, calm as though he had just finished a hard day's work. "I just cleaned the mess," he said. The trial shook the nation. People were divided. Some called him a monster, a heartless murderer. Others said betrayal that deep could drive any man to madness. But Chike? He just stared blankly in court, repeating the same words. "They weren't mine." In the continuation of the story, after Chike confessed and kept repeating, "They weren't mine," his fate unfolded in a chilling but realistic way. Chike's fate. After his arrest, Chike was remanded in custody. His lack of remorse disturbed even seasoned investigators. Psychologists labeled his reaction as emotional detachment from moral responsibility. He saw himself as a victim, not a criminal. At trial, his defense tried to plead temporary insanity, arguing that the betrayal had snapped something in his mind. But the court didn't see it that way. The evidence was overwhelming. The premeditation of the DNA test, the calm manner he used to commit the crime, his confession. In the eyes of the law, betrayal did not justify murder. The verdict: Chike was found guilty of 3 counts of murder. The judge, in a somber tone, sentenced him to death by hanging, in line with Nigerian law for capital murder cases. The courtroom was silent as the sentence was passed. Some whispered that justice had been served. Others felt a cold, bitter sympathy for a man who lost everything: his family, his identity, his humanity. But to Chike, the outcome didn't matter. In his mind, he had already died the day he opened that DNA result.